welcome to another Fight of the Night review. This is for the main event of last night between Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez. Yep, it turns out that main event that good can live up to the hype, and I will talk about how much it did that as I talk about the rounds, try and break them down as best as I can, and eventually reach a satisfying conclusion. So yeah, let's go. Also, it was in the UFC Apex Center. So the fight starts and the men do touch gloves, and it's always nice to see the men touch gloves, especially when they're both really respectful people for the most part, and yeah, they both start sort of immediately going at it. Like, Rodriguez is starting to get the better of the exchanges early on. He's throwing up a lot of kicks. He's throwing some really good kicks up high as well that don't fully land, but he's keeping Max aware of them. The main story of round one, though, is the leg kicks. The Yair is landing a lot of them, and he's using that to set up some really good strikes up the higher body areas as well. But Max is no slouch. I mean, he's countering some really good combos. He's landing some really good shots to the body, which becomes a main thing for him in the entire fight, basically. But yeah, round one, pretty decisively Rodriguez, although Max is landing so many counters and landing them so well. But Rodriguez is just there a bit more. There's a great moment where he lands a 1-2, then Max lands a 1-2 of his own, and they're both sort of aware of that. Rodriguez is using really good defense and really good head movement, and his leg kicks are really bothering Holloway, and Holloway is not able to do what he's good at, which is close the distance fully. But yeah, round one, solid, entertaining back and forth, amazing round, really crazy stuff from both guys. Rodriguez does walk away with the round one, in my opinion. Round two, it's sort of the same story, but it is starting to get a bit closer because, as we know about Max Holloway, he is one of those people who gets better as the fight goes along. So in round two, Rodriguez is again starting to leg kick a bit more, chopping at the left leg of Holloway, which is starting to look a bit red and swelly, which is the technical term for it, I believe. And Rodriguez is, again, just landing a lot of his crazy stuff, landing some really good stuff to the body, getting hit in the body a lot, throwing up some really good stuff to the leg, which he just keeps focusing on. And there was a couple of moments in round one where he did slip going for those repeated leg kicks. He doesn't do that in round two. He's able to keep his control a bit more. He does start to get a bit greedy with them, though, and Max sort of starts to sense that. He lands some really good hooks and really good shots. I think one of them even stuns Rodriguez briefly. And Max is starting to put his combos together a little bit more, even though he's sort of on the back foot in a way. And he does eventually start piling things on a little bit better, and within the last couple of minutes of round two, he's hitting Rodriguez with a lot of really dangerous looking shots. Does not put him away, but he does manage to close the distance a bit more readily. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention this, I don't remember if this is which round this was in. I think it was near the end of round one, where I think Max went for a spinning body kick, and Rodriguez sort of took his back and held him against the cage. It might have been round one. But yeah, back to round two. Even though a lot of people give this to Holloway, I still give it slightly in favour of Rodriguez personally. I think he just did a little bit more, although Max was starting to come back a little bit better in round two, and he was, like, again, focused on the body, landing with really good shots to the body, and starting to take advantage a little bit more. But rounds 1 and 2, I do give to Rodriguez personally. Then we get to round 3, and Max is finally able to do something he was starting to do in round 2, which is close the distance. He starts with some really good body knees, and again, Max's shots to Rodriguez's body have been, like, his best weapon, and he lands quite a good couple of them to Rodriguez and backs him up. And it gets to a point where he has Rodriguez against the cage and lands a beautiful flying knee right up to the sternum area of the chest. And he starts following that up with some really good strikes, and they do eventually break, but there's a moment where Rodriguez goes for a leg kick with his right leg, and he sort of started overindulging that in round two. And because of how fast it is, Rodriguez does sort of slip and fall, although it looks like Max counters with a jab. In the replay, we see that he just misses with the jab. And yeah, he gets Rodriguez on his back and starts going for him. I mean, he has him, like, in the mount position, lands some really good strikes, has him in sort of a side mount thing, goes for a really good looking arm triangle, but his legs are tangled so he can't really put his weight on it. And yeah, he's controlling Rodriguez a lot on the ground in round 3. And it's not like he's just smothering him, he's working, he's trying to get submission slapped on. There's a great moment where he takes the back and he's, like, still throwing strikes around. And Rodriguez eventually does manage to get back to his feet, but for the most, and when they do, like, they start going brawling again, and Rodriguez, you could argue, got the better of the exchanges, but he was still getting shot to the body quite a bit. And round 3, like, at the end, yeah, I'll give it in favour of Max. Like, he controlled a good portion of the round, and even when they were standing up, even though he was getting hit pretty bad, he still landed as good as he got. So, yeah, round 3 in favour of Holloway. Then we get to the first of the championship rounds, even though the fight wasn't for a title in round 4. And yeah, Max sort of immediately does what he sort of did in round 3. He closes the distance, he sets things up with some really good body kicks. And in round 4, Rodriguez is not landing as many leg kicks. Then again, he didn't really have as much chance to, because he would get taken down fairly quickly in round 4, and Max would again start to get to work on him, start trying to pour on some really good shots on him, and most of those were landing. And Rodriguez does sort of eventually get back to his feet, and they do exchange some really good scrambles on the feet, but again, most of it is really good groundwork from Max, who manages to slow the pace down a lot to his liking. And then there is a moment near the end of the round. There's other stuff in between, like some really good elbows from Rodriguez. Like, he's looking for the uppercut elbow that he knocked out Korean Zombie with 3 years ago. He's looking for that a lot in this fight. He's focused more on going upstairs than he is going on for the legs, and I think part of that is because Max had landed a lot of shots to Rodriguez's body, even a great liver kick and some really good clinch body knees. But yeah, there's a moment near the end of round 4, sort of like a minute and a half left, and Max goes for a punch, and his thumb knuckle scrapes against Rodriguez's eye, and he had already cut open under Rodriguez's left eye in like round 2, I think. And by the time of round 4, he caused Rodriguez to have a quite nasty swelling under his right eye. But yeah, he did accidentally scrape his eye with his knuckle, with the knuckle of his thumb, and the fight did have to be stopped for a little bit. But when it resumed, yeah, Max and Rodriguez again having great striking exchanges, and Max coming off a little bit better, because, you know, this is where he starts really getting things going. And round 4, I give in favour of Max, not just because, again, he was dominating a good portion of it. And again, much like round 3, it was a very, very close round and very exciting, but he just walked away with it a bit more. He was looking a bit more confident going in, and Rodriguez not being able to land as many body kicks was definitely something that was a detriment to him, because those were such a good weapon for him. I think he got worried because he slipped up in round 3. But yeah, round 3 and round 4 in favour of Holloway, and we enter the 5th and final round. And we get to the 5th final round, and they start with a hug. I love it when fighters who know they've put on a great fight start the last round of a fight with a hug. I don't know why, I just do. But yeah, they hug, and they immediately get to beating the crap out of each other as well. Obviously, yeah, Max is looking again for the takedowns, because he landed a good couple of them in round 4. There's a great moment where he saw the leg check kick and got a great takedown from that. But round 5 is very much more of a stand-up war. They're both a little bit tired in round 5 because they've been putting out a lot of energy, but they're still going for it. I mean, the exchanges are amazing. Max starts landing his combos a lot more frequently. Rodriguez is landing some really good stuff. He's throwing more spinning back fists. One of them lands and stuns Max a little bit. He does open a cut above Max's right eye. And just amazing action in this round, in this entire fight, but in this round especially as well. Rodriguez lands some really good stuff. He's countering the takedown a little bit better. I don't think there's as much ground stuff in round 5 as there were in rounds 2 and 3, or was in rounds 2 or 3, excuse me. And yeah, Rodriguez, even though he's being backed up a little bit more, still throwing some really good, like, come from behind stuff, looking again for the uppercut elbow, and landing some really good stuff, landing to the leg a little bit more. And there is sadly a moment where, during an exchange, where I think Holloway is poked in the eye. Again, accidental, because it was sort of like an accidental scrape with the thumb or something with the finger. It wasn't intentional, and they did have to take a break, which was a shame because there was not a lot of time left in the fight. There was about a minute in. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, Max did get Rodriguez on the ground, but Rodriguez immediately turned it around, managed to get back to his feet. That was a really great ground moment, a really great moment in a really great fight, and the two were back to exchanging a lot of strikes, and the last 20 seconds of it do end with Max grinding Rodriguez against the cage a little bit. And yeah, basically, I know I did a really poor job explaining it, as I do with any fight, but Max won round 5, and he would win the fight by unanimous decision. I got no complaints about that, so we may as well get to the conclusion. So, this fight was fucking amazing, and you should absolutely go and watch it. I was expecting really good stuff from these two, because this was Rodriguez's first fight in over 2 years, and it was Max's first since January, where he got a fight of the night then as well, but that fight wasn't nearly as good because he just smashed Kelvin Cater for like 25 minutes. That's not my idea of a fight of the night. This is. Oh, there was a great moment in round 5 as well. I forgot to mention, but Rodriguez went for like a sort of handspring spinning wheel kick and tried to follow up with a overhand left, but because he was on the ground anyway, Max just punched him right in the face and knocked him down. That was a really funny moment. But yeah, this fight was incredible. Really entertaining back and forth. Love how fast it was as well, but there was a lot of impact to each move, considering that this is like the second lightest weight class for men as well. Sorry, third lightest because I forgot about flyweights. Considering that fact, amazing stuff and not boring at all. Love the respect between these two. No complaints about the call. I do think Rodriguez won round 2, though, personally, but I'm glad that we all agree on him winning round 1. But Max won 3, 4, and 5, and quite possibly, this might be my fight of the year. It might surpass Ortega versus Volkanovski. Possibly. I don't know. It's a very close toss-up between the two, but I really enjoyed this fight, and I recommend that you all go and watch it because it was pretty fucking incredible. So that'll about do it for another Fight of the Night review. Yeah, just go and watch this one. It was really great. Amazing stuff from both guys, and I would love to see them run this one back, personally. But that's it for the video, basically. The next thing I'll see you for will be Music of the Week tomorrow. There won't be a video Tuesday, but there will be a PBW vs AVW stream as soon as I make a card, which I still haven't done. And then after that, hopefully on Wednesday a very brief history of Ghost, and on Thursday the full episode of Ghost for backtracking. So that's the plan I have. And then Friday night more Psychonauts. Hopefully I don't have to cheat as much this time. So yeah, I'll see you all for that, and as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.